Dear learners, I welcome you to the second part of DNA replication. In the first, now we come to a term which is called as replication, folks. So now we are accustomed to what template is, what a primer is, and what DNA polymerase does, and what is replication all about. It is about elongation of the short strand by taking the help of the template. Okay, the replication fork is a situation where a double stranded DNA opens up or unwinds. Okay, there is an unwinding so that a single stranded DNA is obtained over here, and as soon as the single stranded DNA is obtained, DNA polymerase enzyme comes and binds to it. So you should always remember that binding of DNA polymerase can happen only when the DNA unwinds, right? And the all the proteins which are required to make this process happen, they move in one direction, that is from 5 dash to 3 dash, and this is called as the direction of DNA replication. And all the proteins, all the enzymes which are involved are called as the replication machinery. That is the term which is used. Okay, so now if we say that the direction of the replication is this as shown in the figure, then you can see that there is this strand. This strand is in direction of 5 dash to 3 dash. Okay, so as DNA is anti-parallel, so the strand which is in 3 dash to 5 dash direction, okay, the template strand will be called as the leading template. Why? Because the new strand which is synthesized will be in the direction of replication and will be synthesized from 5 dash to 3 dash. So this strand will be called as a leading strand, and the new strand which is synthesized, which is shown in red color, will be synthesized continuously without any break. Why? Because the direction is favorable from 5 dash to 3 dash. Okay, and therefore it is called as the leading strand. So there are two terms, one is leading template and one is leading strand. Leading template is 3 dash to 5 dash, the original parental DNA, and the new strand which is synthesized is from 5 dash to 3 dash, right? Now the second term which is used is the lagging strand. The lagging strand is a strand whose direction is 5 dash to 3 dash towards the replication machinery, and therefore the new strand which is to be synthesized will be synthesized in opposite direction, that is from 3 dash to 5 dash. So the DNA here, you can see that the DNA polymerase has to move backward. Why? Because here it is 5 dash and here it is 3 dash, so it will move in this way. So the direction is opposite to the direction of the replication machinery, and that creates a problem that the fragments, the synthesis is not continuous because the direction is opposite to the direction of movement of replication machinery. And so we find that this synthesis is not continuous, but it takes place in short fragments, and therefore it is called as a lagging template. The new synthesis of strand is called as a lagging strand, and the short fragments which are synthesized are called as the Okazaki fragments. Okay, and the synthesis here is called as a discontinuous synthesis, and the synthesis in the leading strand is called as a continuous synthesis. So these are the terms which you must remember. Now we come to the point where the replication is complete. Okay, and these are the RNA primers which are present after replication. These primers are to be removed because a DNA should be completely made up of DNA material and no RNA should be present in it. So it is first of all removed by an enzyme called as RNase H, and then a gap is created due to which it is due to the 5' exonuclease, and this gap which is created at the primer template junction. So the DNA polymerase comes in and it synthesizes that short fragment to fill the gap. Still, the joining of two bonds are remaining, and this final sealing is done by DNA ligase. So this is the process which takes place at the end, where the RNA primers are removed and a new DNA synthesized instead, and then it is sealed by DNA ligase. Okay, now we will just see it here. The single strand, once the helicase converts the DNA into single stranded, at every nitrogenous base, unpaired basis, the SSB protein binds, and this helps to maintain the single strandedness. Otherwise, what will happen as helicase move forward, these these two will again rewind, and then there will be no replication possible. Now we come to the next enzyme, that is called as topoisomerase. Now you see helicase, what it does, it pushes the coils in forward direction so that you get a single stranded DNA for replication. But then when you push along the double stranded DNA in forward direction, ultimately what happens, the coils, they get concentrated and they cause a supercoiling effect or introduction of a positive coil like this. So if a positive coil comes in the way of a DNA polymerase, the DNA polymerase will not be able to move forward and the replication will stall. To avoid this, an enzyme called as topoisomerase always works ahead of the DNA polymerase, and this topoisomerase, what it does, it breaks the DNA and it releases the supercoil and again rejoins it by introduction of a negative coil. So what do you mean by negative coil? It relaxes the DNA and therefore the replication fork is free to move forward. These are the different types of DNA polymerases which you can use, which you can study, and all the polymerases have their specific functions. So this table will help you to create a better understanding of the type of DNA polymerases in eukaryotes and prokaryotes, along with their number of subunits and along with their specific functions in the process. Now we come to initiation of replication. Now the initiation of replication takes place at a particular point on the DNA which is called a site of origin. Apart from this, a theory was proposed which involve initiator and replicator, and this is something else apart from the site of origin. The site of origin is said to be a point where the DNA binding is weak and it can easily open up. Now what a replicator is, replicator is also a part of DNA, okay, which is in cis form, and it gets involved in unwinding of, it helps in unwinding of the DNA, that is the replicator. And the initiator is a protein which binds to the replicator, and then they function for the unwinding of the unwinding of the DNA becomes very fast, and the replication fork emerges and starts the process of replication. Okay, so basically initiation is very similar in prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Only the thing is that the initiation in case of prokaryotes has only one site of origin, whereas in case of eukaryotes it is multiple sites of origin. And always the site of origin is inside the DNA, it is never at the terminal end. Now the initiator protein, this diagram helps you to understand what is the function of initiator protein. An initiator protein has three main functions to perform. First, it will find out the site where to bind. Okay, so that is the first step, DNA binding. Then when it binds, it has an effect on that area that the DNA melts. That means unwinding starts over there. And after unwinding, we find that it also has an ability to attract the protein which will help in further replication. So these are the three steps of protein. This is the way how how replication starts. Okay. Now in case of prokaryotes, you all know that the DNA is circular, and this is the replication fork which is initiated. Ultimately, what will happen? Both the DNA strands which are circular, they will have their own templates synthesized, but then the problem at the end comes that they are intercalated. So a topoisomerase 2 enzyme is also required in such cases, which causes decatenation of topoisomerase. The interlocking of the loops is released by the topoisomerase 2, which is called as decatenation. Now what happens that the process which we have understood, that the DNA polymerase moves forward and the continuous strand goes in a continuous manner and the lagging strand goes in a discontinuous manner. Ultimately this whole machinery reaches the end. Okay, so in the end replication there is a problem. The problem is that at the 3' end the space is very small. The primer doesn't get a space to attach, and therefore a small part over here cannot be replicated. Okay, so this problem of end replication causes a gap at the 3' end, which should be synthesized. Otherwise what will happen, after every replication the DNA strand will become shorter and shorter due to a short sequence which cannot be replicated due to the lack of attachment of primer. Okay, that was the problem